our friendly stoppies out there.
Friendly stoppies of the world.
Friendly stoppies of the world
Heather,
and beyond.
What if I just did an NPR cadence today and just spoke like this the entire time?
The entire episode. I'd be fine with that.
I think no one will listen anymore.
What is
you gotta
it?
Be brash with this kind of material.
Gotta be brash. Yeah, that was Lucas's review of Make It Stop. Did you see his review of Make It Stop, the podcast today? He said, I don't know what music is, but these two loud people from Boston sure hate it. 8 out of 10. And I think that's a pretty accurate description of what we do here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So hey everybody, we're back again. We're just whipping these episodes out left and right. Y'all gonna duck.
Whipping them out?
Whipping them out.
Is that what we're doing?
We sure are. I meant what I said. I said what I meant. So we are reviewing today an extremely legendary bad album. Yeah. I would say maybe out of all the albums besides Lulu, I would say like the most legendarily bad.
Is this the first truly bad album? Because I mean, before this is, I mean, there was cheesy albums and schmaltzy albums, but I feel like they were all made by more or less competent musicians. Right. If at Stoppies, if you know, like we'll
more or less, mostly less, but still.
But if you know of an older bad album that we should do, let us know. You know, tweet at us at Make It Stop Cast. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't know my own Twitter.
Yep, we're good. We're doing fine. So
the album is Philosophy of the World by the Shaggs.
By the Shaggs, right?
1969.
Yep, and
the first bad album, I think.
Are we really saying that?
I just wanted the Stoppies to educate me if they know better. But I
feel like there has got to be bad music throughout all of human history. Like there was always the equivalent of like that, like dumb like white dude with fucking white dude dreads playing Dave Matthews Band around a fucking bonfire.
Yeah, but it wasn't released on a label.
Oh, okay, true. We hopefully this is the first bad album because honestly I can't go much. I mean I can't go much longer. I mean this podcast has to end sometime, right?
This is the Plan 9 from outer space of music.
Yes, or Manos, the Hands of Fate. I would say.
Ooh, that's
even more so.
That's damning.
It's really. Well, this album damns itself. We're gonna be talking a lot about it, and to help us parse through the complex, complicated emotions that are, I have to say, swirling inside my psyche right now. What are the positives of this album? What do I like this album? Do I like the Shaggs? There's a lot of. This is a day of reckoning, and to do it with us, we asked a very special and very important guest to come in with us today. Do you want to introduce our guest today, Mike?
Yes. Today, joining us at the Make It Stop studios is Andrew Wiley of High Energy Vintage and local DJ and previously occupied the state of New Hampshire.
I actually I still have a New Hampshire cell phone number. So
you're representing.
It's 603 for life.
Representing.
They don't say 603 for life for nothing.
Do you have a 603 tattoo?
I don't, but my brother and my sister both do. I don't have any tattoos. So when I do
they really?
They do. They do.
Stop it.
That's true. So when I do get a tattoo, it will be a 603 tattoo for sure. Or it'll be a live free or die.
Okay, so this is authentic. We needed to make sure that we had, a voice from the community that could really get deep into, what New Hampshire, what kind of a state would birth such a.
I think I can speak for the mindset that the Shaggs. I can hopefully have some insight into their upbringing or at least their background.
Yeah,
I'm born and raised 50 miles from Fremont, New Hampshire, where the Shaggs gave birth
to themselves.
Yeah.
Have you been? Have you been to Fremont?
I almost certainly have.
All right.
Okay, well, tell me.
What's in the water there, huh?
Well, probably nothing much. I doubt they fluoridate it.
What I wanted to start with was I wanted Wiley to get us in the mood of being a New Hampshire-ite. What do you call yourself? Hampies?
I'm a New Hampshireite.
Okay, so talk to me about your upbringing. Put us in the mood
I'm from
what could have possibly made
lakes
this.
and rivers and streams and a lot of trees.
Okay.
A lot of small town meetings. And not a lot of big government.
What do they talk about in these small town meetings?
Well, they talk about how to lower everybody's taxes. You don't want to pay for the town dump. Okay,
No.
like if I don't generate a lot of trash, then by God, I shouldn't have to pay for someone else's trash.
Absolutely not.
So everybody's going to pay $5 for a trash bag, and that if you fill up a trash bag, then you have to pay $5, and that's how we're going to pay for the town.
And that's what freedom
That
is.
sounds like tax.
That's what freedom
It's
is.
not. So you only pay for what you use, I guess.
I see.
Instead of everybody paying for the town dump, only each person with the trash bag full of trash pays when they dump.
So what you're telling me is I can save a ton of money if I just burn my trash.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Burn your trash.
But New Hampshire does have we maybe not as much as Vermont, but we're not always anti-environmentalists up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
So New Hampshire, as a state of a few laws,
It's a
but
state
lots
of
of
being.
opinions.
It's a state of being.
It's a state of being. So okay, because I think what we were just alluding to is that New Hampshire is a particularly odd beast, right? We're both Massachusetts, born and raised, Massachusetts lifers.
Massachusettsians?
That's not what we say.
What do we say?
I don't know.
Massachusettsans?
No.
Wow, there's got to be a word.
Nobody says that. Anyway, point being, we don't understand your crazy northern ways, and we needed somebody here to translate. And also, like, there is something very special about a state. Gigi Allen.
Yes.
Gigi Allen also came out of New Hampshire. It was another fucked up, horrible prophecy that went terribly wrong. That
the great womb of New Hampshire.
yeah, the great womb of New Hampshire. Gigi Allen was
Chewed through
presumed
it.
by his crazy father to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. So this is about, that's the equivalent to what this album is. Like, yes, they're a famous rock band, but they sound like this, just as Gigi Allen was the reincarnation of fucking something, but it wasn't Jesus Christ. So the Philosophy of the World by the Shaggs, the album that we are reviewing today, the Shaggs were a band of three sisters, Helen, Betty, and Dorothy, or known as colloquially as Dot, Wiggin from Fremont, New Hampshire, as you mentioned.
Dot Wiggin.
Dottie?
I had a great aunt whose name was Dot, who lived in Hancock, New Hampshire, I believe.
Wow.
So there's another
So
connection.
authentic.
Yeah.
So authentic.
She didn't go by Dottie?
She did go by Dottie.
Yeah.
Okay, there
it's
you
all.
go.
It's gotta go with Dottie.
So I think it's good for us to get in the mindset here because, like you said, there's a lot of small town meetings, and the way that the Shaggs were able to kind of build themselves up. Well, the first thing is that the only reason why these girls ever started playing music, presumably, is because their grandmother had a moment of premonition where she was reading, doing a fortune reading for her son.
Right.
And she said, "You're going to have 3 daughters I think it was you're going to have a wife with strawberry blonde hair."
Yep.
And then it was you're going to have 3 daughters, and they're going to be in a famous rock band.
There was another one too. Like the other 2 came true, so he was like, "Oh well."
He has to force the hand of fate.
Yeah.
here.
So he.
It's true.
So he became the LeVar Ball of the Shaggs family, and just he did. He was LeVar Ball of music,
true.
1969.
Or like a Beyonce's dad.
Yeah. Or
Knowles,
the Williams
whatever.
sisters' dad. There's iterations of this throughout history.
So basically, he decided that to fulfill this prophecy, because he married a strawberry blonde woman, because something else happened, that whatever was foretold, that these girls were going to be rock stars whether they wanted to or not, which is part of the problematic stuff that we'll get into, like how charming is it when they were basically like kind of forced into this. But
And you know what's wild though? I think the prophecy came true.
The prophecy came true.
The Shaggs are well known, but it was also like a curse because the music is
really
very
really
very bad. I don't know.
So it's just the prophecy came true, but with a price.
With a price, exactly. That's how it always works.
That's what happens when you force the hand of fate.
When really we should be letting everyone live free or die and not intruding in, regulating what's possible, right?
Yeah.
So the way that this was able to flourish and the way that they were able to kind of like build sort of a local, like they just started performing out in the town hall dances. They would have these like events or whatever, and they would have these dances, and because there was literally nothing going on and nobody making any kind of music and nobody doing anything interesting, people were just like, all right, well, I guess this is it. This is what we got. So like they would go and see the Shaggs. So it became a self-fulfilling.
I know what that's like. You go to see your friend's band. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that they're terrible.
When I was in high school in New Hampshire, we'd organize shows at the local town halls. That's where we'd have the shows. It'd be at the town halls, and I'm sure there's lots of not really good music.
Oh, definitely.
That's the way it works, though. But my question, what I was wondering throughout all this, is I feel like these days there's a lot more of that. There's more people playing music. It's more accessible. There's more people getting involved. I want to know how this band ended up releasing this album. Who's this record label that put it out?
Oh, well, there is a story about that. There is a story about that.
That was the one thing that I didn't find in my research.
No, I did find it. I can answer that question.
There's some history there.
There is some history there. They were. I forget what the name of the record label was, but there was 1,000 copies were pressed, and 900 of them were mysteriously lost or destroyed.
Oh shit!
And immediately after recording this, the whole record company folded. Like the whole studio folded.
Oh my god! So there's only 100 physical copies of this album,
right? Of the original, but it re-released. It was re-released. Right? So let's get into that, because it was re-released in the 80s after a few. It was Massachusetts DJs from WBCN in Massachusetts that actually found a few of the copies of this album, and it just found their way into the studio, and then they started playing it like as a joke, and then it caught on. And then Dr. Demento was the one who actually gave it a second life.
Oh, wow.
And started playing on his show. He specifically loved the It's Halloween song, and he would play. He played it on the Halloween. Yeah. So anyway, it was just kind of like a series of improbable and ridiculous events that led to this now being re-released in the 80s. And by like an actual, a new record label. And then that was when like, Kurt Cobain from Nirvana got his hands on it and decided it was his 5th favorite album of all time.
Which is crazy. Which is so pretentious.
So pretentious.
That'd be like
Kurt
me
Cobain,
saying
come on.
That fucking Farrah Abraham is my 5th favorite album of all time.
It's fucking stupid.
I see where Kurt Cobain's coming from. Because,
no, I don't.
This is different, and it's a hip thing to say.
It's a hip thing to say.
But let's be real here. We're gonna hear clips from this album in a second.
I mean, the question is this thing? We say something's it's your 5th favorite album. How many times does he sit down and like, I'm gonna listen to this album from start to finish? I'm gonna drink a beer with my friends and listen to this album from start to finish because I like it.
Right. It's like saying that you love Mozart, or it's like you really are not listening to like Mozart on the regular.
Mozart's got some good jams.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay, so I'm not comparing Mozart to the Shaggs in any way. I'm just saying it's like a thing that you might say that you would listen to, but you're not actually listening to.
Some people listen to classical music for real.
So
I know he really likes like Daniel Johnston and stuff too. So he liked the weirdo outsider art stuff, made by
and like
weirdo
possibly
outsiders,
outcasts. But I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between Daniel Johnston and the Shaggs, and you'll hear it
you'll hear it. We're gonna get into it. One last thing is that we need to talk about the cover of this album.
Oh yeah,
have you seen the cover image of it? Yeah.
The creepy green cult.
Yeah, I was saying it feels like cult photos before a mass suicide.
Or like they're like the wives of some weird polygamist.
Yeah, dude, yes, exactly. They all have the same exact haircut, or like not haircut. They definitely look homeschooled.
Yeah.
I think they were.
And home haircut as well.
Yeah, home haircut.
Home tailored
dresses.
For sure.
It's a weird vibe. It sets the tone, I think, appropriately.
An uncomfortable tone, and we're gonna get into it. This is a 12-song album. At least each song is mercifully short. Most are around
like
2
minutes.
It's about 32.
This is the second shortest album we've done, I think, after Fair Abraham. It's only longer by like 1 or 2 minutes. Should we play the first song?
Yeah. Let's hear some Shaggs.
Yeah. So this is the first track, the title track, "Philosophy of the World."
You can never please anybody in this world.
All right. That's where we're at, guys.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Classic Shaggs melody that you're going to hear again and again.
Repeated many times.
Yeah, it's like you definitely hear those same exact chords, the same like just jangling, jarring like offness of everything.
Yeah.
And it makes it even more, kind of like impressive. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but interesting when there's like the accidental synchronicity every once in a while where it's like
it's kind of like a little oasis you get to once in a while where for just a brief 3 seconds by mere coincidence the drums sync up with the guitars and it's like a drink of cool water as
and you are going to be parched. You are going to be parched throughout the entire
bleak lifeless desert that is this album.
Well, it's not exactly lifeless, is it? It's quite lively in a lot of ways.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, how do you feel about this first track, Wiley?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this track isn't as bad as some of the other tracks.
It's true. They definitely front-loaded.
We're already rationalizing.
Yeah, I mean, this track is bad, but I mean, this one almost sounds like it could be a real song. Very briefly, I mean, that fades away. But at first, when you first put it on, you're like, oh, this is a song. Oh, this is not really. What is this? This is weird.
I think the thing for me with this song was like I didn't have that feeling the first time I listened to the album.
This is a song like Dr. Phil is a doctor.
Yeah, I think you used that one last week.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I just came up with that.
But it almost sounds like something that could be on, like the end of a Velvet Underground track, like so sort of like not like the part of the song, but like where it's like still rolling and it's like on like some like thing that they released and it's like you're like, oh, this is kind of weird.
The second time I listened to the album, I was like, oh yeah, this song sounds way more like a song than most of the songs in the album. This actually works. But the first time I listened to the album, I didn't get that because it was the first song I heard, so I was like, oh no, this is bad. I hope the rest isn't like this. And then the rest was
worse.
Oh, it's so much worse.
Way worse.
So that's why I don't know when we start off like this one. I mean, this one again, to repeat myself, it almost sounds like a real song.
You can see how fucked up this album has made us, guys, because this is by all accounts a terrible song. Like there's no discernible like clear like rhythm. There's no it doesn't even seem. It seems like they're just making it up as they go along. Like it's like a really bad like improv Boston like sketch, and like it's just off the rails and like. No, nobody cares enough to tell them no. The thing is that they had only been so their dad like took them out of school to practice all the time to like make this, and decided that because of their popularity at the Fremont town hall parties, aka there's nothing else to do, so people are going to show up to gawk, and like that is considered being a fan, I guess. And he was like, well, we gotta get them while they're hot. Like, let's go to this record studio, and make this album. Get them while they're hot. So like literally didn't even wait to see if they even knew how to play their instruments.
No, they definitely did not fully learn how to
tune their instruments or like do anything.
You can actually learn. You can hear them learning how to tune their instruments just by listening to the album.
It's true. They leave it in the songs. Those are like breakdowns, accidental breakdowns during the song.
We'll hear the album get more and more out of tune over the course of the next few songs.
Yeah, they definitely didn't stop to tune at any point during the recording of
I think they did. I think you can pinpoint when they did stop to tune, and it was much too late.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, the beat itself it just seems to follow the cadence of like whatever the vocalist is singing, but like a half step behind, you know?
There's always one guitar just playing the exact vocal melody, which is every time pretty much. Yeah, it's every song. It's all the same 4 chords. You know, let's prove it to him. Play the next track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do the next track.
It feels like they never even heard music before. Okay, this is.
I'm not convinced. I mean, this might have been like their first attempt at playing music, and it was like, all right, gotta get him in there.
Gotta get him in there. All right. Well, this song is called "That Little Sports Car."
There was a sports car on the road. I thought I knew the fella that drove. That little sports car was slippery as an oyster. Following it was like riding on a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, to the guitar solo.
Oh yeah, nice guitar solo there.
So I mean, I feel like again, you could easily mistake parts of that for something trying to be avant-garde.
Right, but that assumes pretense that is not there.
No,
but I mean,
absolutely not.
They're not trying to be avant-garde. I mean, it's so. But that's the other thing. It's so earnest.
Yeah.
See, now it gets back. It's like really reminds me. I was saying on the way over here, like this reminds me so much of the Farrah Abraham album. You know, in a lot of ways because it is similarly like it just expressing these like pretty relatable teenage content. To be honest, I mean, most of these songs, the titles are questions. You know, it's like, what am I? Who are this? What is that? And like the name of the album is The Philosophy of the World. Like, is there more of a teenage phrase like to use ever? Like, I figured it out. Like, this is the whole philosophy of the entire world, and it's captured in these 12 songs. And here's, you know, me like questioning the skinny people want this, and then we want what we can't have, and this song is about a car. Like, that's you know, that's relatable teenage content, and maybe
I think
maybe it's fine.
And I think it is like worth noting that, you know, as bad as this album is to me, it did influence music from this point. Like, I feel like this is the beginning of twee. You know, like, I feel like the Juno soundtrack wouldn't exist.
Yeah, like
if
the
it weren't for
Kimya
Philosophy
Dawson.
of the
I mean,
World.
Kimya Dawson specifically has said that this was a massive inspiration.
This
for
is
the movie
very
Peaches.
Kimya Dawson. Like that whole thing where you're being like cutesy and like just playing bad and being quiet. Like, they invented that. But I think which begs the question for me, is Farrah Abraham going to influence music in 30? Is everything going to sound like Farrah? Is there going to be a Farrah Abraham genre in like 25 years?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is it different in the sense that like it was earnest and this like relatable teenage like angst but like communicated in the worst way, like in the least musical way possible.
It definitely only got attention for being bad. Like, that's the only reason anyone knows it. And it's neat that something, you know, new and creative came from that, but I don't know how much credit I'm willing to give the album
at all.
Despite that.
So I think back with this, we talked about this before a little bit. I mean, it is outsider art. I mean, I don't know if there's. I mean, it's outsider music.
Yes, but
so it's like saying, can outsider art be influential?
Oh, definitely.
And of course it can.
Okay,
but
what makes something art? What makes something art?
We had a huge argument about this with Farrah Abraham, where I said Farrah Abraham was art, and Heather and Brian said that it wasn't.
This is like holding hostages in a building and saying, paint a picture, and then saying that the picture is art.
Well, I mean,
maybe is it? But maybe it's not. Maybe it's fucking not. Like, we need to just say that it's maybe terrible. Like, it is.
I think it comes back to
were held hostage by their father.
I think I was saying that in a postmodern world, intent doesn't matter with your art. It's all about how it's perceived. And I think in that way, this album is art.
And because Kurt Cobain pretentiously decided that this is his 5th favorite album, then this makes it art.
I don't know. I'm like, just back to Kimya Dawson, though. Like, for real, like, the Juno soundtrack would not exist without this.
Yeah,
It would be a different movie.
we know
It would be
I
a
think
different movie.
I think that is a good take. I didn't
know that it's influential, so
Yeah.
that's true. But it's hugely influential.
But is it influential in the sense that the room is influential, like the
Right.
as Manos the
Playing
Hands
Manos
of
Space.
you're right, Manos the Hands of Fate is
is.
influential.
Those were all influential.
They
but
were
that doesn't mean
all
any of them weren't
ambitious
bad.
and they were all terrible and they were all influential. Does that make that like
I don't believe that.
compelling art?
Well, so it could be if any of those things have a style or something that was later duplicated or replicated. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to quite replicate the style of Manos Hands of Fate, but the room maybe. I think there will be things.
I don't know.
I think people will. I think people will.
I don't think people are going to imitate Farrah Abraham. That's what I'm saying.
I
think they will.
know
I think they
what
will.
that is.
Well, you
you
have
gotta
to listen to our
it.
podcast,
So,
buddy.
well, shit.
Get it
I've been
together.
a little busy.
What are you implying, Wiley? That this is a frivolous waste of our time? I was going to say frippery.
I'll
Frivolous
put it
frippery.
I'll put it on at work now that I'm back.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Multitask. Okay.
Come on in to High Energy Vintage and listen to some Make It Stop.
Yeah. Do you
Kill-
have
get-
any? Do you have some super rare Shaggs albums?
No, I actually don't own this album, but I have thought strongly about buying it.
That's good.
I saw it once, I think at Somerville Grooves in Union Square. Somerville.
Oh, nice shout out to that.
And
I love Somerville
I think I almost bought it. It was actually very reasonably priced. It was probably the 82 reissue or whatever. And I was like, oh, I should buy that. And I was like, no, I'm going to buy some groceries and some box wine instead. And that's what I probably did. But one of these days I'll make the other decision and be like, no, I've got some food at home I can cook stuff with. I'll buy that Shaggs album.
I'm gonna eat this album. I'm gonna eat this album. I'm hungry. Okay, so let's go on to the next song. And
Who are parents?
Who are
these parents?
Am I right?
They're really posing the great questions here in this album.
Who are parents anyway?
Hey,
Who are parents?
Not what are parents.
Who are parents?
Understand parents do care. We must remember parents are the ones who will always understand. Parents are the ones who really care.
Hey, I heard some vocal harmonies in there.
wait.
I heard vocal harmonies.
I heard two vocalists singing
things.
things. I don't know if it was
That
harmonious.
was not harmonious, but I will say that this song. This is when it definitely starts to realize that this is I start to realize that this is a hostage situation. Like, what teenager in their right mind is going to make a song about how cool parents are?
Yeah, there's something pretty messed up.
What's going on? What's going on?
Parents are the ones who care.
Parents just do understand.
That's true. Yeah, it's
By
a little.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
These lyrics are actually kind of fucked up in the context of their dad manufacturing this thing.
Taking them out of school,
Take them out of
isolating
school.
them completely, forcing them to practice instruments that they had no interest in playing.
He couldn't have forced them that much.
He must have been yelling at him a lot,
They were bad.
Did he come up with these lyrics as he was screaming instructions at them?
Yeah, he's like, here, make me look good. What were the lyrics? Tell me some good ones.
I know they said "who are parents" a lot. I like that they have audible New England accents.
Yeah.
But they also have audible speech impediments.
Well, is it the Kennedy speech impediment or
Who are parents?
who are parents?
Who are parents?
Oh.
So some kids do as they please. They don't know what life really means. They don't listen to what the ones who really care have to say. They just go and do things their own way. Who are parents? Parents are the ones who really care. Who are parents? Parents are the ones who are always there. Some kids think their parents are cruel just because they want them to obey certain rules. They start to learn from the ones who really care. Turning from the ones who will always be there. So I don't know. The dad put the whole thing together. Like, what if they wrote a song like "Parents Suck" and he like?
Yeah, what if the Shaggs really wanted to be like a punk band and they were like before punk even existed?
The New Hampshire Velvet Underground. I mean, there's clearly a bit of Velvet Underground influence.
Oh
there,
yeah,
as Wiley mentioned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Velveteen Underground. I like it. Okay, it's like the cheap version of Velvet. That's not really Velvet.
And also the
velour Underground.
And they're teens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cute.
That works. That's also so 60s. You put a little dash in it. The Velvet Teen.
Yeah.
I can see that on Top of the Pops.
All right. Should we? I mean, is it child abuse to make your children make music like this? That is a question just to ask.
It would definitely be child abuse to make them listen to music like this.
To make them make this music over and over and
so
over
many
again.
questions that I have about this. So like, I mean, they recorded this. And somebody listened to it, like obviously the father was like yes, or even the recording studio person
that like burned down the week after, or like had mysteriously lost all these like copies of it, just like the fucking ET game was mysteriously lost in a like New Mexico landfill.
I mean, of course. So I mean, the recording artist was being paid to press this, but like I mean, several people listened to this and said yes, this is a thing that we're going to press onto an album.
Yeah.
For people to listen to,
right? Yeah, there was a label. So someone at the label made a terrible mistake. And it sounds like Heather, you said this. Them doing this, they destroyed 9/10 of the copies of it, and then they folded.
I was like that movie Food Fight.
This album destroyed them. This album destroyed the label.
Yeah.
How do you fuck up that bad? How do you put it all? How do you bet it all on the Shaggs?
Dude, I really can't. I mean, but it was just so many delusions of grandeur on so many levels. I mean, to be honest, like if your parents,
it was all the LeVar Ball delusions of grandeur, though. I don't know. I'm not convinced the Shaggs had any faith in this themselves. Do you think? Or did they get it brainwashed into them?
I think. Listen, if I was going to be forced by my parents to be anything, I guess I'd rather it be a rock star than almost anything else. You know what I mean? Like that's the part of it that it's still.
I mean, if your parents,
like that's kind of cool.
If you were in high school and your parents
they're playing
said,
shows,
you're going to drop out of high school to be a rock star. I mean, maybe you would have been like, oh, okay. I mean,
the Jacksons did it.
I really wanted to be a traffic enforcer, but now Dad wants me to.
Right, like instead, like it wasn't like they were like being like forced into like hard labor. Like they were like, okay, you're gonna play drums all the time.
I know, but it speaks to the delusion and possible just complete craziness of their father.
But
that he heard these songs and said, they're ready.
Well,
get him in the studio. This is it. Our big break.
I mean, this
philosophy of the world.
This is the entire thing. That's the entire plot of The Disaster Artist. I mean, that's the whole story with like Tommy Wiseau in the room. It's like he really believed. There was no moment of self like criticism of thinking like, no, this isn't good, and people are gonna laugh at this.
And that's
was like I'm sheer delusion, sheer like blind faith. In your own like sense of what is good and what's not.
But in both circumstances, I mean, it sort of panned out.
I know exactly
in the right way.
Right. Exactly.
But
exactly.
I mean, we're talking about both these things. We're on a podcast right now talking about this album, which is famous.
It is famous. They were a famous rock band.
Yes.
The prophecy came. G.G. Allen was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
The dark prophecy.
But yeah, that generally is, I feel like, the story behind enduring bad art. Of all kinds is that blind belief, the unwavering commitment to that this will work, when it's clear to everyone else that it's absolutely not working.
And then it ends up working. And this is an example of one of those that did end up working, as opposed to like Lulu, which was like, universally derided. And like so much of the other stuff that we've reviewed, it's like a total failure, and like rightfully so. But this succeeded in its failure.
It left a mark on the world in a way that Lulu could never, ascend to. But I think because it's just that much fucking worse than Lulu.
Yeah.
It's like mind-bogglingly incoherent.
Don't take our word for it. Let's move on to the next song here, which is My Companion.
Ooh. Oh.
Or no, is it My Pal Foot Foot?
It's My Pal Foot Foot.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Find him home. I go to his house, knock at his door. People come out and say, Foot Foot, don't live here no more. My pal Foot Foot always likes to roam. My pal Foot Foot, now he has no home.
Oh, it's a kitty.
Foot Foot. I hope they found Foot Foot.
They didn't.
They didn't?
No.
Is that part of the mythology?
Is Foot Foot about a cat?
Yes.
It's about a cat that ran away.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Sweet little
How did I not know? This is my
kitty.
favorite song on the album.
I know, and that's actually your other thing besides Talodisco that you could be an expert in is kitties.
Kitties.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love kitties. I don't know if I'm a kitty expert. I just love.
Well, you're an expert in loving kitties.
So no wonder I love this song.
Yeah, it was an osmosis, or you absorbed that it was about one of your favorite things without even realizing it.
Yeah,
it's a sad song.
For me, and I love kitties too, but I don't know if that I love kitties like Wiley loves kitties. For me, it was definitely not my favorite song in the album. It's definitely. I think this is when it really starts coming off.
Yeah, it might be the worst song on the album, to be honest. But I love it in the sense that it's so earnest. Like it's so like genuine, and it's about this girl losing her cat and how the cat ran away and like never came back.
Oh, Foot.
I know, and the cat's name is Foot Foot.
I bet Foot Foot was a cute kitty.
I know.
I wonder if Foot Foot is called Foot Foot because
Foot Foot had to get a
polydactyl.
Oh, it could be.
You know how like
that's giving them a lot of credit.
Yeah, so maybe they call him Foot Foot because he had. I mean,
that's a lot of
speculation. But
maybe we could also ran away from the recording of this fucking album. He was like, I don't want anything to do with this situation.
We could probably
I'm out of here.
Reach out to the remaining members.
The remaining Foot Foot.
Yeah, let's get the real.
Let's get the cat on the line.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there actually was a really like in-depth article, really in-depth article that I read about a year ago about like following up on the Shaggs and like what happened to them and like how they approach or how they think about their work now. And I think one of the sisters is dead, and one of them like doesn't talk about it and like pretends it never happened.
That's fair.
And then the other one is now making music again.
Oh.
Dot Wiggins is making music in the Dot Wiggins band.
Oh.
And Dottie. Oh my god.
And it's similarly like not good in the sense of like what is good, but it could be like a Moldy Peaches song in a lot of ways. So like maybe it's fine.
I think My Pal Foot was also released as a single.
I literally in my notes wrote "This is the single" as a joke. This actually was the single.
I think this was released as a single. It is my recollection of it.
It was, yeah, no, it was, or it was at least a B-side. More like
what was the A side?
Like a G side, or like a H side, or a X side.
This was the B side. Well, what was the single then?
Philosophy of the World.
Okay, yeah. So that's right. They front loaded it. Yeah, this works as a B side, I guess. I think it's impressive because I was talking about how this was influential to like Twee, but this song I feel like was influential to like generations of bands that they sold at Weirdo Records, like trying to capture this vibe and just not quite getting there.
Right.
So like I think if you intentionally try to make this music, I don't know that anyone could pull it off quite like the Shaggs pulled it off.
Well, and it's the same as trying to intentionally make a bad movie. Like, and it's like why like any sequels to The Room are gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like you can't do it.
No, you can't do it again.
You can't do it again. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Although The only time I've successfully seen that pull off is with Trapped in the Closet.
Oh, yeah.
Lightning did strike more than once there.
That's actually a really good point.
Not in the same way, but it was still still similar. So okay, so My Pal Foot was the A side, My Pal Foot
was the A side.
Was the A side?
What?
Unbelievable.
With the B side is Things I Wonder. Another question titled song, released in 1969.
We're gonna
7-inch.
We're gonna get down to that. We should keep going because we got a lot. We've been reckoning with like the nature of humanity here, and we gotta stay focused on the music because there's a lot of bad music to listen to here. So, I believe that this next one is My Companion, and here we go.
Never has rest.
This is fucked up.
My companion is with me wherever I go. Even when I go to a show, my companion is of course my radio.
Aww, that's nice. That's a nice twist.
Yeah, my notes I wrote 2 songs in a row about pets. Or is this about God? Oh no, it's about a radio.
Aww.
What a twist.
I like that twist.
Yo, but that song is fucking weird, right? Like it's really fallen off the rails at this point.
Yeah.
They're not playing real chords anymore.
Yeah.
They're not. The drummer is just going da 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 like da da da. Like there's a sound guy being like, "All right, snare now." Da da.
Yeah, exactly. Right, it's like Tom, testing
hit the other drum, honey.
Yeah. I think this might have been the first time the drummer ever heard her sisters play this song. You know, like it sounds like she has no idea what the fuck she's like. It always sounds like she has no idea what she's doing, but in particular on this song,
this song is bad, like real bad.
It's very bad.
I don't think I think this is they tune after this song. That's my theory. Because it's very out of tune at this point. I think they've done each song in my theory.
No, I'm pretty sure this is one of the songs where they have like a tuning break that's built into the song.
Oh yeah, that's coming up. Actually, yeah, that's one they tune.
I'm pretty sure they tune in the middle of the song.
I think that the next song.
Not?
We'll see.
No, I think it was My Companion.
My Companion.
It sounds like a soundtrack to like a horror movie about like.
No, it's the next song. I'm so happy when you're near. That's. I think we use that as the clip.
That's not a question. I'm so happy when you're near.
No, there's some of the songs are statements.
Yeah, that's a declaration.
True.
They ask questions and they make statements. You know, they're not afraid to step up to the microphone and tell you what their philosophy of the world is.
Which again is another reason why I find myself liking this album, because what it represents, especially in the context of 1969, a group of young women playing instruments. Now, needless to say, terribly, but they were young women in a culture
terribly and not necessarily of their own free will,
right? And yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's make that clear. But I mean, but they still did. I mean, all of these songs were written by Dot. All of them were written by her. They were not written by the dad.
All one of them over and over again?
All right, this entire song, this entire 32-minute song.
The lyrics are unique to each song.
And they're meaningful to her. You can tell, I mean, they're personalized. So it's like, it's cool that there was this representation in a musical climate, in a social climate in which women were not really allowed to ever kind of talk about their own feelings or their own like perspectives, or least of all make rock songs about them.
That's true. I mean, well, you know, but there was like Janis Joplin and stuff, and
and Jefferson Airplane, and
Nico was with the Velvet Underground. She didn't play any instruments, though.
Yeah, I'm talking about instruments. Playing instruments.
And you're right, because there were a lot of girl groups in the 60s, but they
Shangri-La's
were were singers. They did harmonization. They didn't usually play.
And they were not writing the songs.
Yeah, that's
for
all
sure. These guys were
silent. I'm racking my brain trying to think of something.
It's cool. I understand why it's got like cred. It's very DIY. It's very outsider. It's like different than everything else that was going on at the time.
It's legit.
It's just not doing it for me.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it is important.
But it's not good, right?
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It's cool, but it's not good.
I agree.
I agree, but I still like it.
Like the room is cool, but it's not good, right?
But
Yes.
is it good? But does it?
But I mean, but the
What? Okay,
the intent,
what is
the
good?
intent of those? If we want to compare bad things for a second,
Yeah.
the intent of the Shaggs album is, I feel, a little bit more pure, and just again what we've talked about, stream of consciousness, just a little bit more like
very
the intent's
stream of
pure.
consciousness.
Whereas the room maybe is like not quite. It's quite so pure. It's more like self-indulgent.
Self-serving, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
self-indulgent.
all right, I see what you mean.
And this,
Yep.
this really doesn't feel
why we keep you
self-indulgent
around.
at all. It's like
No.
the
Right.
opposite of self-indulgent.
But it's also
It's so earnest. It's
yes,
so
yes.
genuine.
But
it's
it has
so,
that. It has that disturbing undercurrent of it's also done under duress
right.
of their father, right?
Oh, sure.
That's a whole other element.
Right,
that,
and that's exactly. So like part of me is like I volunteer with Girls Rock Camp. I love the whole ethos of like bringing girls together and teaching them some basics of how to play an instrument, but mostly teaching them how to have confidence in themselves and how to get up on stage and unapologetically, perform. And it doesn't matter whether they are on beat or whether they play every chord correctly. It matters that like their spirit is being supported and that they're able to go out and be on a stage and be admired and be loved for that moment, right? So this isn't in my, like, if they had chosen to do this, then it would feel like that, and then I would feel even more uncomfortable making fun of it. But instead, they really didn't choose to do this.
right. But I'm sure they inspired other people to do it. So it's still cool.
It is.
But it's just a little that pesky detail.
Yeah, it is definitely a pesky
It would
detail.
be. I guess we could find a little bit more about that, about the detail.
I don't know if it would have existed if it wasn't for their father, though.
No,
That's true.
if
It wouldn't
not for
have.
that weird
It would not have.
prophecy.
I guess he was
Well, and do you think
motivation.
G.G.
here.
Allen would have existed if not for the fact that he was named Jesus Christ Allen and left in like an electricity-less fucking cabin for his formative years?
I don't know. He would have had the micro penis either way.
You're not wrong. All right, let's move on to the next song here, which is
I'm so happy when you're near.
right. That one.
The one with the tuning break.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is the tuning song. Get ready, guys. It's fun.
Way you are always in my dreams, and when you're home to stay, we make a perfect team. It's so hard to have to wait for you to ride us to the gate, but when you get there, we have many news and feelings to share.
Right there.
That is my favorite part of the whole album.
That's
I'm
great.
not gonna lie, that's my favorite.
Great. Well, they needed a tune. The shit was out of tune.
It was so out of tune, and they just go.
What is going on with the drums? That's what I want to know. What is going on? It's like
that's the thing. If we try to do it badly, even we can't do it.
can't
Our
replicate.
brain is like naturally human consciousness is naturally attuned to music and rhythm. Like I know that a lot of people don't necessarily have that or don't know how to access that, but I can't imagine having a rhythm, an internal rhythm like this.
Yeah, for I think I remember being in 4th grade or 5th grade when I was first playing guitar, and I had a band with my friend called the Evil Doctors when I was in 5th grade, and it was just me on guitar and him on vocals, and we recorded into a boombox, and I knew how to play 2 power chords. It was a lot of chugging on F, and I don't think I could ever recapture what that was. This album is the sound of adolescence just first starting to try to play music, and I couldn't. There's a point where you
It's
can't.
like adolescents having sex for the first time.
There's a
It's
point
like
where
you
you
don't
can't go
record
back.
that either.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it.
I don't think you can't go back to that. You can't accurately have sex like you had sex the first time you did. You'd have to try really hard to come in 3 seconds. But
I don't need to try.
But yeah, I think it is that sound of adolescence just first trying and failing really to make music, but it's just wild. It's just really wild that it exists in a recorded format and the world is aware of it.
Did you have a band in high school, Wiley, or did you go see terrible bands in New Hampshire?
So yes, there's some. I actually, if I picked up a guitar and played music, it actually would sound like the Shaggs. So while we're all sitting here, no, but for real, it's kind of like if you've ever seen me draw. I draw like really weird. I can't draw good, and I can't music good either.
We all have our talents. We all have our skills.
It sort of just doesn't work out. So I guess on my side of things, I was always the guy who would help like organize shows and help put on shows because that's what I could do. I was like, I could make things happen.
Yeah.
You know, like so when I was happy to like be that person because I was like, hey, this is what I can do. Every once in a while, I think I did play a one-string bass in a band. Very briefly, and I don't even think I did a very good job.
What was the band's name?
No.
Come on! Oh my God!
No.
Wait, Wiley, you have to tell us. We're friends here.
Wait, do we know this band?
Tell us the name of the band. Oh my God, Wiley, you have to do it.
Tell the Stoppies.
For the Stoppies.
For the Stoppies. This is a podcast about bad music. You're withholding bad music from us?
Okay, listen. I'm feeling like the Shaggs dad right now. We're pressuring Wiley to
go to the studio, Wiley.
Go to the fucking studio.
We're gonna send you to the studio.
Play that one string. Play it again. Play it again.
I'm sorry.
Well, I am too because God, I really want to find out what that band.
We'll have to take it off mic, right?
Yeah, it's okay. We'll shake him down.
And I'll tweet about it later.
Okay. Should we? Let's move on. I will say that one of the lines in the song, I think this is when it really, again, it starts to feel very psychedelic, like just like a bad trip. When she says, "I think we are completely insane." In this song, which is like, is Dot peeking behind the curtain?
Wow, that's getting kind of crazy.
And like, also, just do they ever take a breath? This entire album, it's just there's no pauses. It's just the entire it's like a lyrical avalanche, like stream of consciousness, fucking nonsense.
It's another Tide of Fair Abraham where the words are coming at odd times.
Yeah, just when you least expect them.
But Fair Abraham had a lot of pauses, and this has like no pauses except for the tuning break.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like da 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 da. They know that one scale very well.
Yeah. Da 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 da. All right,
let's move on.
We're moving on. All right, this next song is called "Things I Wonder."
This is the single, right?
This is
the B-side.
B-side.
The B-side
to Foot.
I wonder why you make me cry. I wonder why we have to say goodbye. There are some things I don't understand. There are some things I do. But one thing I don't understand is why we have to be so blue.
Oh man, what a wild! Imagine you're in a record store. It's 1969. You just came from the malt shop. You head over to the record store, and they got new releases, new 7-inches, fresh off the press. You're up there in wherever, New Hampshire, somewhere in New England. I'm sure it wasn't distributed far.
No.
Let's say, you know what?
It's distributed into the nearest body of water.
Maybe you were in Somerville. Maybe you went down to the record store in
the Sam Goodies.
You went to the Sam Goodies. And you see this, the Shaggs. Well, I like the name of that band.
Sounds so
look
hip.
Interesting. Their haircuts are all
the same. Comfortingly similar.
You go home to your phonograph and you put on My Pal Foot. And you listen to it through, and you scratch in your head, and you turn around, and you put on This I Wonder, or Things I Wonder.
Things I Wonder, yeah.
What's going through your head in 1969 hearing this music for the first time?
I think that very few things are going through your head because you're in a hypnotic fugue state and you're wondering if you'll ever escape. Like this is like torture.
This is also 69 was the year that they had all that bad acid. The summer of 69. The Son of Sam summer, right?
Was that the case? Yeah, that might be true.
That might explain the Son of Sam, honestly. Did he get into some bad shags when he was on some bad swag? On that fucking those orange barrels jumping through windows.
I am not picking up what you're laying down, but I love that you're.
You gotta look it up. Everyone was on bad acid.
I mean, it sounds. I mean, this definitely sounds like a bad acid trip. Like I want to take like a cold shower. Like I want to like, play some Enya and like light some incense and like hope for the best because the shit is. I need a spiritual cleansing after listening to this.
These girls were definitely straight edge, but they are the embodiment of the bad acid of 1969 and 1970. This is an Altamont happened shit too. This is when the dream of the hippies died in 1969, and I think
this is appropriate. Yeah, it's appropriate. This is their funeral march. Things I wonder, man. I mean, I wonder like why this happened. Like, I wonder when it's gonna be over. I wonder a lot while listening to this song. And
Wiley, what do you wonder?
I wonder what happened to the other 900 copies.
It's like Food Fight, the movie that like the original like files. You don't know what this.
Oh no, I was miming that I hadn't seen it. Oh, I know all about it. Oh, I know all about it. It's like
there was like a bunch of all of the footage of it was mysteriously destroyed, and then they had to like reconstruct it, and then it took them like 11 years, and it was the worst. So anyway, check it out if you don't know what we're talking about.
Well, most of all, I wonder why you make me cry. My favorite lyric in the song. I don't know if this song is about a man or about God or about their dad.
Deep.
Or about their lost cat.
Yeah, it could all be about Foot.
No, I hope every song's about Foot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It is the philosophy of the world. It could be, a Jungian kind of. Maybe your dad and Foot and God are all the same, man.
They're all one. I am one and you're one and we are all together now.
All right, moving on.
And moving on. All right, this next song is called Sweet Thing.
Well, this could be good.
Nope.
I don't know those drums.
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah, they're so close to working.
No.
I feel like this is the first song they recorded, maybe, because those drums are.
They're catching up.
I mean, that snippet almost sounded like a snippet of a song.
Right,
like a real song.
Why was there
like a free jazz fucking song or something?
Why was there single foot and Things I Wonder when it could have been Philosophy of the World and Sweet Thing?
I know.
What the fuck? What do you?
Okay, listen. I'm
gonna go back in time just to tell them to release a different 7-inch single.
It's pretty fucked up that we're begging for Sweet Thing right now. Like, hold on. Can we play that again? Like, so we're clear about what we're doing.
That song sounded almost okay.
All right, and we're gonna listen to it. Listen to this.
That's not so bad.
Hurt you.
So the lyrics are bad. The vocals are bad. The music is not working. The guitar is still doing that one thing they know. But I'm mesmerized by the fact that the drummer is playing nearly the tempo that they're singing at.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually happening.
Yeah, it's true.
And when the vocals kind of they're singing together at the right times. There's like a call and answer kind of thing going on in there. Like it kind of works.
Yeah. I mean, let's be clear. It's still terrible, but it's like a shit sandwich versus like a shit with Nutella sandwich. Like, I'd rather have the one with the Nutella. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have a shit and Nutella sandwich, please.
All right, let's go on to the next one. This one is this one is actually the one that was like famous on the Dr. Demento show, or the one that he like started broadcasting and bringing to light. It is Halloween, and it's getting very spooky.
Why even Dracula will be there? It's time for games, it's time for fun, not for just one, but for everyone. The jack-o'-lanterns are all lit up, all the dummies are made and stuff by just knocking nervous.
I feel that's. Do you ever like? Do you think they're like sort of playing a scale and singing to it? It's like
Dun, 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 dun,
song.
Only on every song.
Be there.
Yeah,
Only on every single song, and it's the one scale. But can I just don't understand why this hasn't become the Halloween song. This song is so Halloweeny.
Well, there's
blow the monster mash right out of the wall.
yeah. There's nothing.
I was working in the lab late one night. They did the mash. They did the monster mash.
I mean, that's the thing. There's nothing There's nothing that signifies in any way Halloween in the song. There's no like spooky ghost sounds. There's no, again, like woo,
Didn't you hear her say that even Dracula will be there?
Oh, stop!
It's time for squeams. I love the speech impediments. That's my favorite thing about the Shaggs.
Maybe we love the Shaggs. Maybe we love the Shaggs.
It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling that I have for the Shaggs because
they're my kindred.
I feel like this is the.
I love them.
I agree, and like the way the songs are constructed, the way the album is constructed, it really does mimic the hormonal rampage of like being a teenager in a fucking small town in the middle of nowhere, doing shit that you don't even want to be doing, and like struggling through it. Like there's some sort of universal like nature to that, isn't there, guys? Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I'm being too kind, but I might love the Shaggs. Okay.
I can't say I love the Shaggs.
Well,
You're gonna throw the Shaggs on at a party?
I would. I would.
Here,
that's how I know whether my friends are really my friends.
here, Wiley, you have the aux cord.
Yeah.
You better watch out. Gonna play the Shaggs.
I'm gonna play the Shaggs on the aux cord.
If you invite me to your party, I will play those Shaggs for you.
Oh, jeez, Louise. All right.
Let's move it along.
All right. So this song is called "Why Do I Feel."
I love it.
Why? Why do I feel?
Why indeed?
I mean, that's some existential dread.
This is my second favorite song title after "Who Are Parents."
Sometimes I worry over nothing at all. Sometimes I think life's just a ball. When life changes and turns the other way, I try to think of something.
Yeah, that high note.
Yeah.
That's the high note.
And she goes high on the something gay, which I really appreciate. Also, I think this actually was my candidate for best drumming on the whole album.
Oh.
I mean, she's playing.
She's playing a steady
she's not
beat.
Slowing. She's playing a steady beat, but not the right beat.
Not the
It's
right
still
beat.
Incorrect.
Well, it's a
Still
beat.
not working.
Do you think they
I think there was a bridge at one point where she was playing competently. But
Yeah.
that part.
Do you think this was multi-tracked?
No, I don't think they could have afforded that.
I would guess not, but I mean, it would almost explain some things a little.
Yeah, like did they just lay down?
Right, just
the
give
drum
them
track
like-
or
first?
put them
like,
each
yes.
in like separate rooms and say just play your instrument and
Yeah,
like,
maybe maybe the drummer's headphones were broken and she was too scared to say anything about it.
Oh,
It's too dark.
I mean, that's why they need Girls Rock Camp. I mean, seriously. It's like, why, like, this album is giving me whiplash. Like, I'm just going from fucking like one like tragedy to the other, and like there's no time to adjust.
Heather, what's the name of the woman who's still playing music? Dottie
Wiggins.
Dottie Wiggins. I want Dottie Wiggins to collaborate with Farrah Abraham. I think that should be...
Honestly, Dot, I want to say to you, I hope you find this podcast, and I want you to know that I think you're actually great, and I think you're fantastic, and you have a lot of fans, legitimately, and I think that... I don't know, man. You should definitely come down and teach at Girls Rock Camp and like be an inspiration. Just be like, fuck everything. You can just make music no matter what.
I don't want to be a bully. They all sound like very nice people in this band. They sound, pretty much unlike any other artist we've reviewed so far.
I know you like them.
This band is the nicest.
Very likable.
I would most like to hang out with the Shaggs.
Agreed.
I'd like to hang. I don't know though. I want to see with Farrah Abraham plus this would be an interesting combo.
I can see that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they can make Farrah feel more comfortable, so she wouldn't just have to record everything to a metronome. But I think that the Shaggs could have stood to
use a metronome. Yeah. Maybe you needed a metronome. That could have helped, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that with her metronome, she could bring her metronome to Dot, and they'd both. It's a match made in heaven.
True. All right, let's get on with it. Unless you have any other deep thoughts, guys. Okay, yeah. Why do we feel,
man?
Why do I feel? So it's not even what do I feel. It's just why do I feel all?
Fuck.
I don't know, man. All right.
Are they wondering? Are they wishing that they didn't feel?
If you read the lyrics, it's literally asking like, why do I feel sad sometimes?
I mean,
it is very. It's very teen.
It's earnest. It's earnest.
It's earnest. It's teenage. It's fresh. It's vibrant. It's good food.
It's raw.
It's
all right,
raw.
and we're gonna.
It's a right dog's dinner.
And it's raw. All right, what should I do? The penultimate song on this album.
Lay it on me.
All right. Where are we?
Sometimes he's kind, sometimes he's cruel, sometimes he's mean, and other times he's rude. Tell me what should I do? Wish someone would.
And you thought we were done, but we're going to keep on talking. Yeah.
As is usually the case by the time I get to this point in any of the albums we review, I've run out of things to say.
Yeah.
It's... I get it. I get worn down and exhausted by.
I mean, this album is an onslaught of incomprehensible music.
It's an onslaught of whatever that
incompetent and incomprehensible music.
I mean, like what? I mean, what is there left to say? I mean, we're like, you can't say each song sounds the same because it doesn't sound the same, but it's.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Aside from like, that's why I think maybe that's why Foot's your favorite because it's the one that kind of breaks the mold.
Yeah, it's true.
It's got a distinct.
Maybe
sound.
that's why it was the single. I almost said signal 3 times.
I like that song.
I mean, again, it's another song that's so earnest that it like feels bad to make fun of it because it's like.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that, especially since you shouted out Dot after I've been talking so much shit.
I know.
Now I feel bad. What if she does listen to this?
Because she's from New Hampshire. Maybe she'll find out about it. I hope she does. I love you, Dot. I love you, Dot. We would love to have you for like a follow-up episode and like interview you.
Look, Dot, I'm sorry. The show does not work if I don't talk shit. I have to do it. It's our job. It's our job. But truly, this music is bad.
It's true. I can't. Yeah.
Should we finish it up?
Let's finish it. Let's end with a bang here on the final song. We're gonna take you to church. This is "We Have a Savior," the final song here today.
Is the savior that the album is over?
That was my first note.
All right, now I know why they suck. Because they're fucking Christian rock.
Yeah, literally the first thing I wrote down was the savior is the fact that this is the last song of the album. So great minds, Wiley, great minds. I don't know if this album or this song or this album single-handedly disproves the existence of God, or does it prove it? Because honestly, like the fact that these guys could be famous and that premonition, this like supernatural premonition, like was actually, foretold and came true. Maybe God is real. Or maybe because this album exists, we know that God is a farce. And
I'm more on that side after listening to the album. I don't know.
Yeah.
If this is part of God's plan, then we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I want plan B. I want to abort this this entire way of life. Yeah, I mean this.
I don't know. I'm in the same boat though. I feel very worn down at this point. I think the Shaggs. I have an interesting relationship to this album because I recognize that it has done some good in the world. It has moved some folks and made them explore their artistic boundaries. And I think it's neat and it's cool and it's I understand why it's I think it is. I think because it's so out there and so different. I get it, but at the same time I'm really not. I don't think I ever want to listen to the Shaggs again.
Oh, see, I could. Next time I come to a party, I'm going to be there. I mean, it's true. The album is a festering pile of dog snot. It's a bag of moldy tangerines. But
you know what? I guess you're right.
But it's still good.
I guess I would listen to it again. I think it is really.
It's compellingly awful.
It is compellingly bad. Awful. I got to give it props because. We've listened to every album we've listened to so far has been bad, but some are bad in a way that is really.
This is bad. Like a tapeworm is bad. It's definitely a parasite that's eating away at your insides, but also you're skinny. So
you're skinny. You're getting to eat a lot of food.
Hey, what's the harm, really?
Yeah, everyone should go on a tapeworm diet. It's wonders.
Let's go get some raw, some undercooked seafood and take care of it. But yeah, this
is definitely on that Fair Abraham level where I'm somewhat compelled by it. Should we do our ratings?
Yeah, I think so. So we usually every show we create a quantity, and it's usually a scale of 0 to -5. -5 being the worst, 0 being basically
as good as it can be,
true neutral, and we use a quantity that is relevant to our story today of our content. So
for the Return of Bruno, we did harmonicas. I gave it -2.5 harmonicas. For Victim of Love by Elton John, we did Coke spoons.
It was.
Oh no! It was meat pies. We did because he's British. It was the British invasion.
Yeah.
So. Wiley, do you have any ideas of maybe you're from New Hampshire, so maybe something quintessentially New Hampshire?
Well, I mean, we could give it. We could rate it an Old Man in the Mountains.
I love that
for sure.
All right.
I mean, R.I.P. Old Man in the Mountain.
Right, just like the Old Man in the Mountain, this is a crumbling edifice of something that was formerly interesting. And here we are with the avalanche. Okay, so what do you give it then on a scale of 0 to -5? Men on the mountains.
Old man of the mountain.
On the mountain.
Okay.
Old man on the mountain.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give it -5. Old Man on the Mountains, because it is the worst. It's the worst thing I've ever heard. But I also
you haven't listened to our Broken Side episode, have you?
No.
Have you?
Oh, boy.
Oh well.
But I also here's the thing. I think it's I don't think it's so bad that it's good, but I have to give it a really high rating because it is like even a high bad rating.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense?
I think I know what you're saying.
I'm giving it the worst rating because it's
the best of the worst.
It is perhaps the worst album of all time.
Yeah.
And I think it
But
deserves,
it's superlative at being it's the best bad album.
I think it should be the worst album of all time.
Yes.
And an important one.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though again, I like this album. Like not ironically, I don't even know anymore, actually.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now. We have to question everything.
I don't know actually, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a -5. Old Man on the Mountain.
Okay.
-5. Old Man on the Mountains.
Okay.
I'm pretty lockstep with Wiley here. I really think that, you know, although I would rather listen to this than some albums that I gave low scores, you know, I mean, by which I mean high scores, I guess, scores that, you know, like Bruno, I gave a -2. I felt that it wasn't good, but it didn't really it wasn't elevated to a level where I'm gonna pay it much mind. The Shaggs, the mind-boggling awfulness of the Shaggs is gonna stick with me, and in a way. In a way that's gonna persist, even if I never listen to it again. I'm always gonna remember what it was like to have to listen to the Shaggs, and I think it would be disrespectful to the legacy of the album and everything that's come of it to give it like a dismissive score. So while I'm not gonna give it a 5. I'm not going to give it a -5 because I really think that should be that you should save that for truly abhorrent albums that are like. The badness persists because of horrible reasons. I'm going to give this a -4.5. Old Man's in the Mountain.
Well, 4.5. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair. I love hating this album. I felt deeply uncomfortable over the course of this album, but it's similar to like my compulsion to like reading about defunct restaurant chains. Like it's just a thing that I do every once in a while, every couple of months. I do that Wikipedia deep dive, you know, and I learn about Lums that served hot dogs in Iowa. Okay,
did they have loose meat sandwiches?
Yeah, you can fact check that. All right, there's a strange compulsion to things that shouldn't have existed that are almost entirely forgotten. You know, these true, like, not diamonds in the rough, but more like, you know, trash that is kind of shimmery. like, oh, that's interesting. It was a pleasure to experience the pain of this album.
Yes.
And for that, I will give it a -4. Because it is one of the worst albums that I've ever heard, but I had so much fun listening to it, even though, you know, like compared to like Broken Side or whatever, which was like agonizing.
I think this is definitely the lowest rating since Broken Side on the show.
Yeah, but I actually loved it.
Stoppies.
I enjoyed it.
This is history here.
I think you actually summed it up really well by saying that you loved. It's one of those things that when you hear it, you do want to share it with people. Like,
yes.
This is so bad, you have to hear this.
Yes,
it's funny.
exactly.
It's funny.
It's community buildingly bad.
Yes.
Like I think that Lulu was funny too. You know? Like, where it's like it's just audacious and insane. And you
I am the dresser. I am the bookshelf.
I am the nightstand.
I am all these things.
I am all of this.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Folks, you have to laugh. You gotta laugh.
Okay, so all right, so we're gonna wrap up this week's edition of Make It Stop. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to our incredible guest Andrew Wiley of High Energy Vintage of the Old School Game Show, DJ AC Wiley, right?
Yeah, that's what he did.
Okay,
Yeah.
DJ AC Wiley.
AC Wiley.
Wiley, do you have anything you want to plug?
I think right now I have a DJ residency. Hi, I'm DJ residency.
All right, Dad.
I have
I have a weekly night where I spin all vinyl over at Underbones at Red Bones.
Nice.
Nights from 9 to 11. It's free. You can go there and get some buffalo shrimp or some meat popsicles, or and I'll play some music. Not the Shaggs,
That's cool.
because I don't have it on vinyl.
Damn.
Get there.
Well, let's make it happen.
Have a Shaggs night.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been an honor and a privilege to represent my great country of New Hampshire.
Yay!
To hear the sounds of my people.
Wiley, you can check out Wiley's store, High Energy Vintage. It's right across from the Market Basket in Union Square in Somerville, Mass. HighEnergyVintage.com. You can check him out. He's a part of the Old School Game Show, which there's a show coming up in a few weeks, and he'll also be doing the sound at Blow's upcoming show, which is a great transition to talking about next week's show, because we're gonna have Blow, the Boston League of Wicked Wrestlers, is gonna be live, or as live as a podcast can be, on the show with us, and we are going to be doing a White Rapper roundup.
I'm very excited for this. I love these choices.
As fellow former, well, actually, I'm a current white rapper. I'm still out here, and myself.
Yeah, I had the good sense to retire.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, hey,
I'm not saying anything about you. I'm just saying something about me.
yeah. So we got Mike and I, and then also Shay, aka Cheryl from the Boston League of Wicked Wrestlers, as well as VQ, aka the Shitty Wizard, and we are going to be doing You Get to Choose, which we get to do. It's White Rapper Roundup, and the nominees are Kevin Federline, Playing with Fire,
Lil Debbie, OG in my system,
Vanilla Ice, WTF,
and Northern State, Dying in Stereo.
All right, Stoppy. So you got a week to vote, and we got to listen. We'll have time to listen and review, and we'll be back after that. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on Podbean, on Google Play, on iTunes, Mixcloud. We are everywhere, always, all the time, watching you and making you play instruments that you don't know how to play over and over and over and over again.
Get them in the studio!
Get them in!
Get them in the studio!
Get them while they're hot.
Heather, is there just like a pushy dad making us do this podcast?
Are we our own pushy dads?
Let's not talk about it.
All right. It's complicated. All right, guys. Thanks, Stoppies. We'll see you next time on Make It Stop Podcast. Bye.